SAfm, South Africa's news and information leader.
Thank you, Bongi. 8 policemen accused in taxi driver death will not be identified yet, and the world focuses on Kenya's polls. That's in the news this hour. Good afternoon. Magistrate Sam Makamu has granted a request by the prosecution that the 8 policemen implicated in the death of a Davidton taxi driver not be identified yet and that they be kept in holding cells at an undisclosed police station. The suspects appeared briefly in the Benoni Magistrates Court on Gauteng's East Rand, where their case was postponed to Friday. Davidton residents came out in full force at the courthouse. Video footage shows 27-year-old Mido Masia being dragged behind a police van for apparently parking his taxi on the wrong side of the road. He later died in police custody. The SABC's Orisani Stole reports.
The Benoni Magistrate Court was packed to capacity where 8 police officials were due to appear. But Magistrate Sam Makamu had to postpone the matter in the accused's absence because of the fear that the media may publish their pictures before the identity parade on Thursday. There was a large crowd of protesters and taxi drivers outside court shouting no bail. The family of the deceased says it's very saddened by Masia's death. The matter will be back in court on Friday. For SABC Radio News, I'm Orisani Stole in Benoni.
The case against 20 Democratic Republic of Congo suspected coup plotters has been postponed to Wednesday for formal bail application. Proceedings were delayed as court officials were still sorting out security arrangements. This after a court interpreter was assaulted, allegedly by supporters of the accused, outside the courthouse last week. The suspects and their alleged leader, Etienne Kabila, face charges of violating the Foreign Military Assistance Act for conduct amounting to mercenary activity in South Africa. The Marikana Commission of Inquiry has heard that witness Mzokolo Magidwana doesn't recall whether he was present or armed during an illegal gathering at a hill a day before the Marikana shootings. Magidwana is being cross-examined and says the only time he recalls going to the Kopi was on August the 16th when he was shot 7 times during a standoff between Lonmin Platinum mine workers and the police. The police's legal counsel, Advocate Vianney Ngalwana, however, insists that Magidwana was present and armed on the day in question.
The South African Police Service will lead evidence that places you firmly at the copy on the 15th of August 2012. Do you want to reconsider your answer in that regard, or do you persist in saying that you do not recall having been at the copy? If you do know that you were in fact at the copy on the 15th, but you don't say so, the Commission will be none the wiser about the true events of that day from your perspective.
Following a strong start to the year, the underlying momentum in new vehicle sales weakened in February. Sales figures that the Automobile Manufacturers Association NAMSA has released show domestic new vehicle sales improving by 1.6% year-on-year in February to just over 53,200 units. NAMSA Executive Manager Norman Lamprecht.
On the export side, prospects for the year looks very promising, and vehicle exports during February reflected an increase of 22.4% following the 49.9% increase during January compared to the corresponding months last year. It is anticipated that vehicle exports will exceed the previous record of 284,000 units exported in 2008, and that exports this year will be around 360,000 units on the back of the strong performance of light commercial vehicle exports.
Police have launched an investigation into the cause of an accident in which 1 person was killed and 28 others injured in a multi-vehicle pileup on the N1 highway near the 14th Avenue off-ramp this morning. It's understood the driver of a truck carrying bricks lost control and crashed into about 22 vehicles, including a taxi. ER24's Derek Banks.
After the accident, initial tally of people killed was 5 and multiple people injured. After being reassessed by the paramedics, making sure that airway had been accounted for, the death toll was brought down to 1. This was due to lack of communication by members of the public telling paramedics that there was multiple people that had been killed.
To other parts of the continent, Kenyan polls are the focus of international attention after more than 1,000 people were killed in the previous election. Observers have described the election, which is currently underway, as the most important in the country's history. Kenyans will choose a president, members of parliament and senators.